Hey everyone, welcome to a new executable items tutorial. In this case, I will explain you how to create guns inside Minecraft. The idea of the tutorial is to first know how the guns work, to know how to get it into Minecraft using the plugin, then learn how to create a variety of guns from the first one that we create. So instead of creating every weapon, we can just create one template and then just change some configuration to get another types of weapons. And finally, how to add textures and more complicated stuff into this. Okay, before starting, I have to tell you that this is not the only way to achieve this. There are many ways to achieve every item with these plugins, with summer plugins, such as using different activators, adding more features than we are adding in this tutorial, and also changing the way that the mechanics works, adding more mechanics. Maybe you would think, hey, I would have made that feature or that mechanic in another way. It's totally comprehensive. There are many ways to achieve each thing, and if you have an idea and you want to share it, you can send it in the comments of this video. So with that said, let's begin the first part. How does a gun work? Well, when the trigger is pulled, the fire pin hits the cartridge, igniting the gunpowder. This creates gas pressure that propels. I'm joking. I don't want to know how the gun works itself. I just need to know how the mechanics, basics mechanics of this weapon, of a normal weapon. So, how does a gun work? First of all, it fires bullets. But does it fire always bullets? No, because if there are no bullets, it will not fire. That means it needs the bullets to be greater than 0. Also, it reloads, but it doesn't reload always. It only reloads if the current bullets are less than the max bullet. Also, it will reload how many bullets. Normally it will be max bullets minus bullets. That means the bullets that you need to get into the maximum. But that can be changed depending on how you want to create it. For example, you would maybe want to create an ammo that only reloads 15 bullets always, for example. And also it can be aimed. But what is the purpose, or why would I aim a weapon? Well, because I would get precision, and that would be another mechanic that you would need to make to complete the gun system. If you don't want to make it, it's fine. I will not explain it in this tutorial. But if you really want to recreate the way that the weapon works, you will need to create precision, where we lose precision if we move and jump, and we win precision over time and if we aim. Also, you can add another mechanics, such as the one you saw in the first video, that I can crouch, that I can lay down to get precision and stuff like that. Okay, so we have these two mechanics. You can know when a person is aiming, but how do we register it into Minecraft? Well, it would be a boolean value, if it is aiming true or false. Okay. And also it will reload a type of bullet specifically, for example 5.56 millimeters or 7.62 millimeters. There are many type of bullets that, since we are creating a template, each gun would need. Perfect. And also the reload part, it will take a reload time to reload. Also, when we are firing the bullets, I will get recoil firing these bullets, and it will fire bullets per shot bullets, because for example the AK-47, it only shots 1 bullet per click, but a shotgun, it can fire between 4 and 8 bullets. I don't know, but it can fire more than 1 at once. Perfect. So let's check how these mechanics would be made inside Minecraft. I will not make the precision part, the laydown part, because it would be a very long video, and I have received messages on Discord that the videos are so long. So if you would like, I could explain it on the description, or I could make a part 2 of this video. So this is what are we going to create. How would we get this into Minecraft? Well, first of all, inside executable items we can use variables to store stuff, so we're going to change all these things into variables. So instead of bullets per shot, it will be a variable that we can change later into the template that we are going to create. The same with bullets, with max bullets, with the type of bullets, with the recoil, with the reload time, and with the damage. Okay, we have stored the things, but now how do they happen? How do I fire the variable of bullets per shot bullets? Well, in my case, I would like it to be a player right click activator. And also I would like to reload the bullets with a player right click activator. But hey, they are the same. Not. I will add the condition of if not shifting and if shifting to fire and to reload. Nice. But now that we are adding activators into this stuff, you can see that it will apply bar damage using player right click activator, but that shouldn't go like that, because it doesn't make sense. It will need to go into its own activator, that are the projectile hit activators. So if the bullet hits an entity or a player, it will apply the bar damage. Perfect, we now know what to add inside Minecraft. Let's get into Minecraft, and don't forget what we are adding. I will probably add this image many times into the process, so you don't forget what are we doing. Let's go. Hey, so let's get into the creation of the weapon. Alright, so first of all, let's do EA create. I will call it gun. I will not put a specific name because, as I said, it will only be a template for you to create other guns. So the material, in this case, it will be diamond horse armor. You can select the item you want, depending if you have some item modders or stuff like that. And the name and the lore, it will be done later. So first of all, let's create all the variables we talk about in the presentation. So the first variable is bullets. That is a type of number and it starts at 0. Perfect. I will set it to 15 because I would like to test if it fires bullets before testing the reload part. So I want the weapon to start with some bullets. Now max bullets. That in this case I want this weapon to have as max bullets the value of 30. Perfect. Now we need the variable of damage. In this case I want the damage of the projectile, that means the bullet fired, to have a damage of 8. The reload time, I want the reload time to be 3 seconds. I think it's good. Also the type of bullet, it will be depending on your gun. In this case I will put it as 5.56 millimeters. And what do we need? In this case, this type of is a string. We need the recoil. That I will say it right now, because you would need actually two variables, the recoil and the speed variable. One is for the recoil of the weapon, and the another one is the speed of the bullets when fire the weapon. You can separate them. In this case I will not do it because this is a very simple item, but you can see that it's not hard. Just create another variable, and when I do recoil on the speed, you should use your speed variable. Perfect. So recoil, and I will set it like 0.2. And what do we need more? Bullets per shot. In this case it will be 1, and I think we have everything. If we need something else, I don't think I forgot, we will add it. Okay, so now we can change some stuff. In this case I will call this a key 47. You can, since this is a template, you can change the name depending on the item you're creating. And in this case, on name, I will use variable bullets casted as an int value over variable max bullets casted as an int value. So we have 15 bullets over 30 bullets. Alright, perfect. We can see that if we get the gun, it doesn't do anything because we haven't created anything. But it looks nice. So, first of all, let's create the fire activator that, as we said, is a player right click with the condition if not sneaking. I will remove the message if I am sneaking and I try to run the activator. And that's it. So now this activator only works if I am not shifting. Alright, what this will do? First of all, it will launch the projectile called gun. So I added the command, by the way. I first need to create the projectile called gun. So we create gun template, for example. I will change the name later. So it's an arrow. I have to add some velocity. I should put it invisible, and I should add particles. So let's add some particles. I don't know which one I would like. You can set up the correct particle, like a smoke or something like that. Let's see. Particle density, this is the most important in this case, and maybe 2. Let's see how this looks. Remember, the name was gun template, so launch gun template. Perfect. Let's see if it's good, if I like it. Okay, I can't set it the projectile invisible because I don't have protocol lib installed on my server, but you can set it up. Now I forgot to remove the gravity. That is some important part. Alright, now there is something I don't like about the particle part, that is the particle offset and the particle speed. Perfect, I think it's fine, this value. Alright, let's see if it's better. Okay, imagine the arrow is invisible. As I said, I don't have protocol lib installed, so that's why it's not invisible. Alright, I think it's fine. As I said, you can set it up better on your case. So I am launching the gun template. But as you saw, every bullet I am firing, it has no speed, and that doesn't make sense. You can set it up a better formula to represent the speed of your weapon. For example, on one of my servers, which I made a gun, the speed formula is very long and it includes the precisions that I talked about, having a precision system on the player, which increases when standing stay and it decreases when moving and jumping, etc. But in this case, since I am not going to add that, I will set up a basic recoil system that basically it will be random values. In this case, I don't want this to be a lot, so I will just multiply it in between these two values, and the same here. So basically, the variable recoil, it will be multiplied by the random value between -10 and 10. This would need placeholder API, math extension, and RNG extensions. Let's see if I like it. As you can see, there is now some spread between between each bullet. You can set it up a higher speed, adjusting the variable recoil or adjusting this formula as you want. Nice, so that is the speed. We also need the recoil. So execute as player add itself run TP itself to, in this case, this axis is the one that we are looking for, that is this axis. Perfect. So we will need to use math again. The same. It would be RNG between 1 and 4, I think. Yeah, multiplied by the variable recoil. But since the variable recoil is 0.2, it's a very low value. So I will multiply it by 2. And that means that I also need to set the value to minus. Because I will times it today. Because as you can see on the facing part of the information, if I increase my camera, the variable actually decreases. You can see right now is -5, -10, -20, etc. So we need a minus value so it actually moves us upward instead of downward. And let's see if it works good. I don't forget anything. Variable recoil. Alright, I forgot 1% right here. So now it is not working. Let's see why. Okay, I need another parenthesis here. So that was my bad. I needed to use brackets. And now it works fine. Perfect. So I have recoil. It is not a lot. As I said, you can set it up the way you want. Perfect. Now we need to add the use of bullets per shot in case you're creating, for example, a shotgun. So it just would need this to be launched, the bullets per shot amount. That would mean loop start, variable bullets per shot int. I have to move it over this and loop end. So if I launch it one time, it launches 1 because that is the value of bullets per shot. But if I set that value to 5, for example, and I get the item again, it launches 5 bullets, as you can see. Now the spread is very low. As I said, if it's actually a shotgun, you would need to change the recoil number. And I would prefer you to use two variables, the recoil and the spread, as I said before. Nice, so let's put this value to 1 again. And we have the weapon. Now, we need to set up the part where it actually removes bullets. But before that, this activator should only work if we have actually bullets. So that means the variable bullets must be superior than 0. Okay, this could be fine if you actually are firing 1 bullet over time, but you could add the system where actually the variable bullets must be greater than the variable bullets per shot. So you are actually firing that value, but that would make only sense if you are modifying the variable of bullets by the variable bullets per shot. I hope you understand. That is a way that you could achieve it. In this case, I'm only going to make that each fires it removes 1 bullet over my ammunition. It would depend on your needs. I hope you understood what I'm talking about. You could either fire and remove the amount of bullets per shot, or you could just remove 1 bullet. It will depend on what you want. Normally it's 1 bullet because 1 bullet of shotgun actually represents many bullets, but on ammunition it's only 1. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So nice, in this example I am removing one bullet and it will only work if the variable of bullets is greater than 0. So let's see if this works. Now it's removing bullets, and if I got to 0 it doesn't fire anymore. I'm right clicking and nothing happens. You could create the system where you right click and it says, for example, a sound and a particle that lets you know that you have no more bullets. Perfect. So the fire system is done. Now we need the reloading system. It will be a player right click and condition if sneaking. I will remove the invalid message and that's it. Now let's do the reload part. First of all, I need to add cooldown to the item itself when I'm reloading. So I will use set item cooldown material diamond horse armor cooldown bar reload time. But I have one problem, and I will say it. I don't like a lot this idea. I would spend more time developing a complex system that makes the reload a status. So you would have a variable called reloading inside the item, or using score variables that let you know when the player is reloading and cancelling all the events. For example, you can't open chests, you can't change the slot you are using, you can't drop the gun, you can't do anything because you're actually doing the physical movements of reloading. That is what I did for my server, but it's a long system that would need more time of the video. That is what I did for my server, and I suggest you, if you are actually implementing a complex system of guns, I would do it. But in this case, since this is just an introduction to gun, I will use this command. That the good part is that it will apply the cooldown of diamond horse armor to all the guns. So it makes sense. You can't fire another gun if you're actually reloading one. Nice. So it applies cooldown, but how do we make the reloading part? Alright, we need first to know how do you want the reload part to be, and I will talk a little bit. You could make, for example, one bullet to reload by one bullet. That means I could shift click and it will reload one bullet, one bullet, one bullet, something like that. You would think it's very bad, yeah, but that would mean a static reload. That means you're reloading always the same amount. Instead of one bullet, it could be 2, it could be 10. So you would need at least 10 bullets spent to reload. But I think that system is not very good and it doesn't represent the reality. So what I would suggest you to do, and I will do it because it's not hard, it's actually very easy, is to implement a system where you reload the amount of items you would need to be reloaded. How would we do it? Perfect. First of all, we need to create the condition that we can only reload, and in this case I will use player because I am going to put placeholders on part 1 and part 2. Remember, if it says player, it means the placeholder will be parsed. Perfect. So on part 1 we must make sure the variable bullets is inferior than variable max bullets. So we actually can't reload if we have a value of bullets over max bullets. Perfect. We have to create another placeholder condition, and I hope it makes sense for you. On the part 2 on the part 1, we will need just to inverse the comparator, but we would need to use the value of bullets we need, and the value of bullets we need is variable max bullets minus variable bullets. That means max bullet in this case is 30, and if we have 15 bullets, we need 15 bullets. If we have 10 bullets, it means we need 20 bullets. But this operation doesn't work because we will need to use the placeholder of math, and we will need to use parentheses to make everything work good. And finally, the last percent. So basically this means how many ballots we need. Now, this part will mean how many ballots do we have. So the amount of ballots that we have must be superior or equals than the ballots we need. How are we going to count the amount of ballots that we have? Perfect, let's do that part. First of all, I will create 5.56 millimeters. My bad. Perfect. So this will be the gunpowder. It will be called as its name, and I will remove the lure. And perfect. It doesn't have any activators because it's only an ammunition, that it doesn't do anything more than the useful part for being reloaded by the guns. So I will take a couple of this ammunition. Now, oh, it says when equipped. We can remove that. Actually, let's do it. We can go to hiders and hide attributes. And now it looks better. Perfect. So we would need to count how many of these items do we have. But to do that, you have many ways. I prefer to use check item placeholder extension. That is a very good extension to count or to check if you have specific items with a lot of specific information, so you can actually target what you want. In this case, I will just add a condition of the name equals. So I will count the amount of items that has name equals of 5.56 millimeters. But there is one problem. These have a color and I don't want to write always that part when creating another gun. Since this is a template, I will add another variable. Remember, we actually have a type of bullet, but I will create another variable called type of bullet color, and it will be the same, but it will be colored with the same color than the ammunition. That is the important part. So I will save this and I will go to my condition, and what I'm going to put on the part 1, remember part 2 is the amount of bullets we need. Part 1 is the amount of bullets we have. It would mean check item amount name equals, as I said, and it would be the name of the variable type of bullet color. So it will count the amount of items that starts with the same name that we wrote in the variable. Nice. So let's save, let's go back, let's save, and let's test if this works. I forgot, we are not creating any modification. So let's go to modifications, and we have to set the variable of bullets to max bullets. Perfect, because we are reloading all items that we need. That means all the bullets that we need by this condition. So let's see if this works, and it doesn't work. Let's check why. Remember, we could have made a mistake. So the variable of bullets must be inferior than variable max bullets. Perfect. I don't see an error here. Now here, all right, we could add a message if not valid saying you don't have enough variable type of bullet. Let's see, let's get the item again. It can fire, and if we reload it says you don't have enough, but we actually have. So there is one problem with that. First of all, I will make sure I have the check item expansion. So I will maybe reload, and okay, I do have it, but it is not working. Let's see why. First of all, let's go to the variable type of bullet color, and it's the same color than this one, so that is good. Now let's go to the placeholder condition, and perfect, I saw the problem. I put percent to these variables, but I forgot the percent of the start. So I will add a 1 and now it should work. Let's see. Now it doesn't say anything. Why? Let's check again. Let's go to activators. Perfect. Placeholder condition. Alright, I forgot here to set the variable of ballets to max ballets. But the problem is that I wrote, look what I wrote, max ballets, but that is not like that. It's var variable max ballets. Perfect. So now let's test if this works, and it reloads to the maximum value and it sets the cooldown. Now we have now we need the part that we actually remove the amount of ballets we need, and that would mean a take player variable type of ballet math 0 and variable max ballets value of int minus variable ballets that we have right now as int. Perfect. Let's see if this is good. I will add another parenthesis. I forgot a percent right here, and let's see if this works fine. So I need 5 items. I reload and it removes 5 items of the ammunition. Perfect. It works fine. Now it is firing and it is doing everything it should. But now if I reload and I fire quickly, I can fire while the item is reloading, and it shouldn't be like that. So what we could do is go to guns, activators, and the activator that reloads, we could apply a cooldown to the item itself called the gun on the activator. I forgot the idea of the activator, but I think it's called activator 0. Let's check later. And apply a cooldown of 3 seconds. This is one way we could do it, or another one that I prefer, I just deleted it, is using commands. We could use a cooldown player and gun, the seconds variable reload time, I think it's the name, and that is okay. I forgot something. Player ID seconds. Okay, boolean ticks false and perfect, because I don't want it to be by ticks, I want it to be on seconds. So let's check, and if I reload, I actually can fire. Let's see why. It could be because of, okay, let's cast this value as int, and now it works perfect. Nice. So what we also need is, when I'm cooldown, it says you are on cooldown, and I don't actually like that. So what I'm going to do is go to the activator. I will go to cooldown options and display cooldown message to false to both activators. So now when I'm cooldown and I try to use one of them, it will not print anything. Perfect. So now it works. We only need the part of hitting. So it will be projectile hit. That in my case I will use entity. You have to add that to the player. But since I don't have any player here, I will not do it. And on entity commands, we just need to add damage bar damage. And cancel the event so it doesn't apply the vanilla damage of the projectile itself. Nice. So let's put a cow here, for example, and with 2 hits it dies. Perfect. It works as expected. Nice. So we have our simple gun done. Now there is a lot of improvement here, a lot. This is a very basic item. We made the fire part, we made the reload part, and what you would need to do, for example, is, what if I reload? For example, what if right now I need 10 bullets? If I have 10 bullets, it will reload perfect. But what if I need 15 bullets or 16 bullets and I reload? I can't reload because you need to add another activator or a complex math formula that I will actually make another activator. I think it's easiest, that actually can count the amount of items you need. That value increased by the variable of bullets that you have right now doesn't exceed the variable of max bullets, and in that case you can reload it. So you actually have two activators, or you can make it with just one with the enough system, complex system, to reload the amount of items that you need. Now be careful, because if you actually take the items that you need before parsing them, you could create an error. So double check that part. Remember, the idea that you would need to use is basically the variable of bullets is inferior than max bullets. Perfect. Now the variable, or basically the placeholder that checks the amount of items that you have of the bullet color, is minus than the variable max bullets minus the variable of bullets. That means the bullets that you need to reload in total, because that is the case. We need 16 bullets and I have 10. Perfect. So this will parse 2. Now we also may need a condition that we actually have bullets, so check item the amount of bullets is greater than 0, and in that case I could apply the modification to the item by the amount of items I had in my inventory, and then on commands I could take all the items that I have on my inventory. And this would all make sense. Maybe there is a better way. Remember, I just thought about it right now while I'm trying to help you to succeed on your things. So that will be it. So we are done. We have many ideas to do, but we will talk about it later on the presentation. So let's go there. So we actually made the item. We are done. Now, what improvements could we make? Perfect. We have a lot of improvements. First of all, the fire activator. We could add a play sound variable name of weapon with the ID of the weapon itself on your texture pack, so you can actually play the sound of the item you are firing, and add the variables of precision, better equation for recoil, creating a variable for speed, creating modifications so it spread more over time you are actually firing the weapon. The separate is already what I said, it's creating different variables. On the reload activator, you could create a GUI or a system that shows you how many times have gone while reloading, or you could create an animation, for example. Use variables, as I said in the tutorial, to prevent swapping items, dropping items, using another guns, etc., or maybe slowing you down. The third part is already what I told you how to do it. Remember, it's the first thought that I would do it, but there may be better ways. Basically, it's reloading not all the bullets, but an amount of bullets that is inferior than the amount of bullets we need to get to the max bullets. And also weight system, a dropping system, the aiming system, and a status of weapon system. The status part is something I added on my server, and I think it's very good. Basically, it's similar to the Counter-Strike skins, that it has a status, and depending on the status of the item, it makes more damage, it takes less to reload. Basically, it's a better weapon. Anyways, if you have more ideas to improvement for the other people, you can just send it on the comment below. Nice. So now, the variety of guns. How would you do a variety of guns? It's very simple. Just change the variables you created, and if you improve the item, you create another variables. Just change them and everything will work fine. But this needs you to use commands only with variable values on the commands. So in that way, everything will be updated when you are changing one variable. And that will make the system very easy. Remember, you are going to spend a lot of time creating one item, so you don't spend more time creating other items from the template that you already created. That is the idea. And finally, the texture part. I actually suggest you to create textures. I know it would need more time of developing, but it actually will engage the people. Having real GANs system and real GAN textures inside your Minecraft server. And actually it's very easy, you just have to set the custom model data or the item model of the model you created. Everything can be done with the tutorials on this channel, and you will have results as the one you saw on the first clip of this video. So nice, now we are done. Before ending this tutorial, remember this is not the only way to achieve this. This is very important. You can find better ways, and if you do, feel free to share them on the comments so you help the others. The options I suggested are not bad, but obviously there are better ways. There is always a better way, and it doesn't mean always an efficient way. Maybe a way that you actually understand more and it's better for you, that will take you less time, that will make you comprehend better the plugin, better the system of items, better the mechanics. That's what you want. You don't need actually my solution. You need the open mind to create your own complex systems in a way that you actually can understand. Also, don't forget, there is a lot of space of improvement, a lot. I hope to see you on the Discord support forum or on Share Your Items forum on the Discord, showing your accounts creations. I know they will be better than mine. I hope you like it. I hope you understood about guns. I hope you now create your template and create a lot of stuff. This tutorial can be made for creating and other things. And see you.